Welcome to Community Cocktails with Kimberly, hosted by Kimberly Woodard, a realtor for nearly 20 years with Ebby Halliday Realtors. Join her every first and third Wednesday of the month as she meets with the top community influencers to help you get to know the area you want to call home. Don't just love your home, love your community. And now, your host, Kimberly Woodard.
Welcome, viewers, to today's episode of Community Cocktails with Kimberly. I'm so excited about this episode. You are probably, this is the time of year where we're always trying to move. Moving is a big time. Maybe you just put your house on the market and now you've got the offers and you're like, oh no, I got to get out of this place. Or maybe you found that home and you are ready to move. Well, today I have Jameson here with All My Sons Moving and Storage. She's the director of marketing, and we are going to talk about moving and tips and all kinds of things for you. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, let's just talk about your company.
Sure.
It has been around for as long as
Forever.
Yes.
Yeah, it's going on, 38 years.
Wow.
It's been around. A lot of people think that we're a franchise, and we're not. We do have 63 locations nationwide,
Wow.
but we're all under one umbrella. We were family owned and operated up until about 5 years ago. And but now we're privately owned and still all under one umbrella. The family actually has a pretty cool story. They started with the first one out on the East Coast, and they used to sleep there. And they would take turns sleeping there and just like growing it because back then you couldn't. They just didn't feel comfortable leaving the small office and. So they have a really cool story. And when it started to grow and they started making locations all over the United States, they sold their house and bought an RV and just started traveling to all the different locations so that all the movers and operations knew who they were.
Wow, that's great. And I love the personalization that they gave the company and that they really identified with their employers, even though, they may have been from one state, they're traveling to see everyone.
Yeah.
So it made it more of a family.
Yeah, it really was. That's why our motto is let our family move yours.
I love it. Well, he said it's been around forever and has such a great reputation nationwide. And I think that's the other thing is that people are looking for movers, whether they're going just down the street, which I've seen that people just need to go down
House
the street.
swaps,
Yes.
right?
or you're going across country and it's nice to be able to use the same movers that you've always had, that whole time. Well, let's talk about, people are, looking at and they're interviewing moving companies, and what should they be looking for? And what does your company offer them?
So when people are looking for movers, I never recommend booking over the phone or getting a quote over the phone. It doesn't matter if it's a one-bedroom apartment to a multi-million-dollar home. Yeah. I always recommend getting an on-site quote so that you know exactly what you're going to pay on the day of the move.
Right.
Sight unseen, no one can really tell you what you're going to pay, and that's why you always see those horror stories of it was one price over the phone and now it's the day of and it's another price. Well, you really can't get an accurate quote. So step number one is when you're interviewing movers is to make sure that you're getting an on-site estimate, not giving an inventory over the phone.
And I would say that's
half the battle.
Well, and something to consider is, people like to comparative shop. Well, these are all your prized possessions. You want it done right.
Right. 100%.
Yes.
100%. I had a customer who was like, well, another mover said it would take less time if they didn't wrap and protect my furniture. I was like, well, have fun.
Yeah. Don't you want to?
I'm like, good luck with that.
Yes. Oh, wow.
Right. Yeah. It goes on. The list goes on. I also would ask questions like, how many men are coming out?
Yeah.
I would ask questions about, some movers include the fuel in their hourly rate. Some movers, it's separate. You always want to ask about the material charges and the fuel rate and, making sure there's no hidden costs or fees because sometimes it goes in one ear and out the other. So you want to make sure that you're hitting all your data points when it comes to cost as well. And then also insurance is a really big thing.
Yeah. Making
sure they're licensed and insured because just like there's pop-up shops for everything else, there's pop-up movers.
Yes. Yes.
So
there one day, call me next.
100%. Absolutely.
Well, and again, I stress that this is your prized possessions. You want it done right. You want your things, your prized possessions wrapped. You don't want them damaged. You want, them to be careful and, so I, just like you would interview someone to watch your kids, a babysitter, you should, look at your moving companies the same way.
Right.
So
it's definitely, especially right now, May through September is moving season.
yes.
You can't book last minute quotes, so last minute moves. You should be booking at least 3 weeks in advance, no matter if you know your closing date or not, because you need to get on the books. There's a lot of last minute moves happening right now, or referrals coming in because of movers not showing up. And if I like the referral I received today, I can't do that move until Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. So last minute moves are really tough right now. They need to be three weeks in advance. And if they would have asked the appropriate questions, they might not have had the movers not show up today. They would have known, what was going on. So
very interesting. Well, I think, as a realtor and, working with my clients, a lot of my clients, will build in, a lease back or something for that reason, because if they have an option period, we want to make sure that part is, over with before they start booking. So then they have that ample amount of time, because otherwise everyone's stressed. I mean, selling and buying is a stressful process. And so then add another layer of just the moving part.
Right.
And stress, and services that you guys offer to ease that stress, because we're all panicked, and a lot of these sellers are also they're going somewhere else,
right.
They're moving somewhere else, or regardless, you're coming from one place to the next, packing and things that can really ease your stress level.
Oh, 100%. We offer, the owner can pack their own boxes, or we can come in and pack the boxes for them. We have half packs where we only do the breakables, like the kitchen or the china cabinet, things like that. And so there's multiple ways to do things. What we're seeing now is a lot of elderly people moving.
Yes.
And they need help unpacking. So there's 2 options for an unpack, where we just unpack everything and put it on the counters and take the debris away, or unpack and put away. Where we take pictures prior to of everything, how it was set up, and then put it back to where it was.
Oh, I love that. And that, that helps, especially in, maybe you've got, everyone's busy. Everyone is, and now that things are opening back up, people are getting back in the offices. They're, if they're relocating here, they've got a new job. They've got to get, there. They can't spend, a week unpacking their house. What an ease. All I can say is that go for taking the service of packing your kitchen and breakables. My husband thought it would be a great idea for me to do it myself. And then I thank goodness for wonderful mother, sister, and friends that came over and helped me, because that was hard.
Yeah.
He wouldn't let me let that outsource. He was like, you need to do that. I think it was
you need to learn.
I think it was, I think he was like, you need to really experience this part. I was like, thanks. I've already experienced a lot.
Well, being recently through an emergency move where I had to have, when the pipes burst, I had to move very quickly, and kind of be like I was in kind of panic mode, disarray, and luckily my movers came to the rescue, but I totally put them through the ringer and I know now, I've always known what they go through, but one of my movers looked at me and was like, will you please leave? Do not micromanage the movers.
Well, you're like, I know exactly what you're supposed to be doing.
I know what's going on. And I was just getting in the way. I knew I was just so frazzled. It goes, that's how a lot of people feel on moving day. They're frazzled, right?
Yes.
And it's my movers' jobs to make sure that they take that away from them. So.
And that is that. I mean, again, when you are moving, whether you're moving, you're getting everything loaded up from the point A to go over to point B. I mean, it's stressful because you're making sure everything is done and, on the truck there. But then if you're a local move and you have the ability to drive over, you're trying to get over there to make sure everything's ready for them to, move into the new place and where it's going and, directing and everything. So, oh yeah, it is very stressful. So you can ease some of that stress with y'all.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
You can take on that stress.
100%. And it's good to see people that when I walk in, sometimes I do spot checks or whatnot, or if they're my good customers or real estate agents, or I know they're going through a hard time, I'll go in and I'll pop in every once in a while. And it warms my heart when I see the customer just relaxing, drinking wine.
Oh, see?
It warms my heart, all right?
That's what everyone should be doing during movie day. well, we got to have a sip on that one.
Yes,
But yes, I mean, can't you just see, have a cocktail or, glass of wine or a fancy umbrella drink?
Right. 100%. 100%. Have a pool party in the backyard. Stay out of the house.
Yes. And then you can come in and everything's done. It's just, it's like, it magically appeared.
Right. 100%.
Oh, that's the beauty. I mean, snap your fingers and it's all voila. I love that. So we've talked about, what you should look for, maybe some tips on preparing, if they're getting ready on movie day, what should, the customer be getting ready for days in advance? Some tips
Purging.
for that.
If you haven't used it, lose it. If your kids haven't played with it, give it away, give it to Goodwill. Purge. The more organized you are, as far as, if you are packing your own boxes, labeling them with what room they go in, so on the day of the move, the movers can, offload and put them in the correct rooms for you, and they're not like, one's in one's room and it belongs there and then you have to move it, because that's what they do when they're packing, right? So definitely purge for your move, right? Everything from clothes to toys to, closets that you've never opened,
right?
Just purge.
Or, in kitchen stuff, I find, even the first time I did, this was just remodeling a kitchen. I, had to take everything out of the cabinets. I purged so much during that time because there was stuff that was hidden in the back that I never used. My husband was like, I think this is still in the original box. We've never used it. I was like, yeah. I was like, okay, done. And then we had all these mixed match glasses that just got shoved to the back of the cabinets, and we, so we got rid of a lot at that time. I feel like I'm probably due for another, purging of my kitchen because I'm seeing some things.
I mean, when I'm divorced now, but when I got married, I wasn't married long, but when we got divorced, I took all the wedding gifts. And so when I moved from my townhouse in Dallas to a new place, I was looking at like a waffle maker I'd never used and like a quesadilla maker. And I'm looking at my movers like, do you want to take that home? Like, I don't even know how to use that.
Yes. Well, because we forget. And again, we shove it to the back of the closet. It gets shoved and then it's time to unpack. And you're like, oh, plus it's going to save you on your
keep in time. The more you have, the more that the movers have to move, the more money that you're going to pay, because it takes time.
Yes.
So I would definitely purge, definitely label your boxes if you're packing yourself. A lot of people, we give different options. We carry enough insurance where we can pack pods, because sometimes when you're moving across country, you don't have the budget to hire a mover. You can do it a little bit less expensive using a pod and having us pack a pod. But at the same time, make sure that you're buying moving blankets and you're not just providing them with like sheets and stuff, because they will pack the pod, but you want to make sure that you have the appropriate material, because that's something that you're not using a mover, you can't use their material, right?
Right.
So, I would definitely recommend, if you are packing yourself and maybe using a pod service, making sure you have the appropriate material as well.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, no, that is important, because I think people don't think about that, and they'll just cram things in a truck, see that they can fit everything in. And then when they get it out, they're like, oh, this broke, or this, they don't realize that you really needed to pack it right.
Right.
You think about just shipping a gift, and, you usually pack it very well, knowing that's the same thing that you need to consider when you're packing your boxes.
Right.
And I'm one of those people that I'll start packing something, then it's like too heavy.
And that brings up a great point. The heavier the items, the smaller the box, right?
Yes.
Yeah. You don't want to be packing, massively heavy things all together in one large box or medium box. Use smalls. They're easier for carrying, for you, for the movers. So the heavier the item, the smaller the box.
That would be like books. Those, I mean,
those add up in weight.
Yes, they do.
Heavy.
I mean, you load 3, 4 in there, and then you're like, wow, this is really, really. And then the box starts breaking.
I know, right? Yeah, it's yeah.
So those are things that obviously I want to consider too. I'm just imagining that, like I said, what I like to do, I like to pack it up like, I can use less boxes.
And that is exactly what everybody thinks, like less boxes, but it actually makes it harder.
So, okay. So that is a good, I know this is something that I've done before, and I do on my listings is I do floor plans, and I always leave them for the buyers and everything, because I think they're a great tool for them during their move, because you can, put on your diagram, this was bedroom 1, bedroom 2, and your boxes, and help the movers, or if they're going to set up your furniture, you can kind of do that diagram there. So I love that.
The more information, the better.
So I always think it makes it a lot more easier too, for everyone. Right. Everyone's happy. Like I'll bring it back to my move. I had my husband, because I kind of float around, and he's like, I need you to stay in one place and direct these people to what they need to be doing, and setting up, and setting your furniture. But it does make everything a less stressful. And I remember once they put something in one of the rooms, I was like, I really don't like that in that room now. So
oh yeah, 100%. And that's okay. That is, when you move to a new home, you always think the furniture in your head is going to fit, or it's going to look good, and it doesn't. And you're like, I don't want that there. Feel free to ask the movers to move it. That's their job.
I love it. Well, like I said, I felt bad, but I was like, I really don't like it there. And I'm not going to be able to move it. so it was opportunity.
Right? 100%.
Oh, well, again, moving is, can be stressful, but you guys can really just ease that pain, ease it, take over the job, so you can have a cocktail and enjoy the the moving experience, and let everything snap up and be all ready in a blink of an eye.
And one of the people always order new furniture, right, and have it delivered to the home, and then ask the movers, oh, can you put it together? 100% no, because I ordered new furniture, and I had no idea. I don't know why I didn't know this, but I had no idea that Overstock.com and Wayfair, nothing came put together, and it takes I feel like you need a degree to put some of that stuff together, right?
Yes.
And God forbid the movers put it together incorrectly and something happens, who are you going to blame?
Right.
So if it's brand new furniture, pay the additional $150 to have some professional from that company do it.
Nice tip.
Don't ask whether it's All My Sons or another moving company. You're better off spending that additional money.
Well, and you just want to make sure, because if it breaks during the assembly, then that company takes responsibility.
Correct.
No, or if there's a lot of times you're assembling them, they are missing a piece or something like that, you just know that it's going to be done correctly, or taken back.
Right.
It needs to be taken back.
Right. 100%.
So, well, this has been informative. I enjoyed so much. I think my viewers probably got tons of tips on moving. If they want to contact you and schedule their move tomorrow.
Yeah, right. I know, right?
But they're thinking about it. I think even if you're thinking about it, it's good to talk to them, get some information about what the expectations and everything that you're looking for, as well as what they're willing, able, and to do for you. And start early. I mean, I think that's the
Getting a
goal.
quote and figuring out how much it's going to cost up front,
Yes.
even before you get into like everything else, is always a great thing.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
because you can put it in your budget. I mean,
100%.
I think whether you're buying or selling, this is something that you've got to account for in your moving budget, because it's just like you got a quote for your closing fees. You need to get a quote for everything else that is going to,
And we try and make it as easy as possible. So we have really innovative ways to, get paid from the proceeds of the home. Things like that. So that makes it easy. A lot of people take advantage of that. So we have different programs, like a move now, pay later, where it's a soft credit pull, where it doesn't. It's like rooms to go.
Yeah.
It doesn't hit your credit. So we have that to do it, and then we also have our ambassador program, which is our referral program. So we have a lot of different things going on to help make it easier.
Well, that's great information to know, because I didn't know that about those opportunities, and I think those are fantastic for the viewers, especially when there's so many costs that are coming out when you're moving. And you feel like you're just writing, your withdrawal check. Yes. And withdrawal.
All the money's going out, nothing's coming in.
And so being able to have either a payment way or for a seller, being able to, have it as a, cost at closing for them makes it a little bit more easier.
What we do is we send an invoice to the title company, and then just when they close on their home, the money for the move just gets wired to all my sons, and it makes it very easy and clean. And a lot of people, especially I've seen with a lot of people with like the elderly people who need to move, or they're moving up north to be with their family or whatever. They don't always have that type of money.
Yeah.
So it makes it easier on them to know it's taken care of. So.
Well, I love that. Well, there are so many things that your company has to offer. Again, we've got all their contact information at the bottom of this podcast. So give them a call and get your moving going. And cheers to us and my Twinkie for today.
Winning.
Thanks for tuning in. If you'd like to contact Kimberly with your real estate needs, you can reach her at kimberlywoodard.ebby.com. We hope you enjoyed our guest this week. And remember, don't just love your home, love your community.